Good afternoon and welcome to Today on BayTV. We are live in Swansea on Thursday, the 6th of July 2017. I'm Henry Darby-Cook and this is Liz Cairns.
Yes, and we've been joined by one of our favourites, the Swansea Ramblers. Well, what have you been up to today? And before I do ask you that, I see we have someone new with you.
Yeah, well, this is one of our walk leaders, Colin Warlow, and he's going to talk about a couple of walks he's leading next week, a bit later on. So,
great to meet you, Colin.
Good afternoon.
Thank you for coming and joining us.
So, yeah, like Liz says, let's start with what you've been up to since we last saw you.
Well, a few things really, but the main one I want to talk about is a walk we did yesterday down in Pembrokeshire. We got some video of it, I think. Hot day driving down there. When we got there, the sea mist came in, so we didn't see as much as we would like to have done. Could hear the foghorns of the ships coming into Fishguard Harbour. And where we started the walk, we walked across Mynydd Gelli Wastad, which is also the site where the French invaded Britain the last time in 1797. There's a monument to that, so that was quite interesting to see that. I knew of it, but... So
should we have a little look at the clip then and you talk us through it? Yeah, here it is.
So as I say, we normally have a lovely view of the sea, but we carry on. It's very humid at the time, and walking through the heather and so on, quite a rough track in places, but part of the Pembrokeshire coast path, really, and the Wales coast path. So, yeah, it was a pleasant day out, really, and I think we all enjoyed it. At that point, we were walking to stop to have a coffee break, which we normally have after an hour or two. So, and then we have lunch later on then. So it's all very social.
It's almost like Jurassic Park, the way that mist is kind of hanging over the land.
Yeah, well, it was that point we could hear the foghorns of the ships. I presume it's the ferry coming to Fishguard. We couldn't see it. It almost felt it was going to emerge from the mist.
I have expected the Loch Ness Monster.
Yeah, it is something like that.
Yeah.
So that was a great walk yesterday. And then this evening, we've got an evening walk. We have some summer evening walks. This one starts in Limeslade at 7 o'clock this evening. Walking to Langland and back, so it's only 3 or 4 miles.
It'll be nice and cooler then as well for people.
It should be, yeah. And then we've got a walk on Saturday around Gowerton, one in the Avon Valley on Sunday. Monday there's a short walk in Markham Park, so it's quite a busy week really.
It sounds it.
Yeah.
Hopefully the weather holds up.
I'm not leading all of them. Yes, I hope so.
What does the forecast look like for tonight and
the next couple of days is pretty good, so it's fine. So, you know, we might have the odd thunderstorm, but I think we're well away from that. It's further east of here we're going to get that problem. But, no, it should be good.
Brilliant.
Great.
So what's interesting...
So Colin's leading a couple of walks next week, aren't you?
Yeah, next Wednesday we'll be walking up the Swansea Canal to Clydach. And then we'll have a spot at lunch or whatever, and then we'll walk back down the other side of the river and make a figure of 8 of it, you know.
OK, so where'd you start from with that walk?
The Fenrod Lake car park.
OK. So how far abouts is that, the walking?
It's about 7 miles.
OK, so it's a decent amount.
Yeah, but being a canal walk, it'll be flat, so there'll be no up and down. And then in the evening then, we'll be meeting at Bonymine Rugby car park, and then walking to the top of Kilvey Hill and back, which is good. Hopefully the weather will be fine and clear, so we can have the views as we walk along, you know. Also,
so would you class this as maybe a good entry walk for people to maybe want to get involved with the Ramblers?
Yeah, you know, people come and they say, oh, I've been working in an office for 30 years, I can't walk 3 miles, and then all of a sudden they're walking 3 miles, and the next minute then they're walking a pen of van and that, you know, so yeah, it's good.
With the company as well. It's
company's good, the company's excellent. You move along, you chat to someone, and then they'll move off and someone else will move up alongside, so you'll have a chat with them. It's good. It's really good, in fact. Well,
it's something we were talking about just before we went live, and it's amazing, kind of, if you're part of the Ramblers, you can pick and choose who you walk with, or if you're on holiday, you can walk with other groups.
Exactly, yeah. Once you join the Ramblers, you're a member of the Ramblers Great Britain, so they allocate you to your address, wherever your address is. So if it's in Swansea, it's the Swansea group. But you can walk with other groups as well. You know, some of the people we have live in Bridgend, somebody else lives up in Cwmllynfell at the top of the Swansea Valley. Some of the people who live in Llanelli walk with us, so you can pick and choose. And as you say, if you're on holiday, you can look on the Ramblers website and it tells you all the led walks that are going on that period you're there, and also some self-guided routes as well. So you get quite a bit for your money, really, from the Ramblers. It's more expensive than a lot of the local walking clubs, but there's a lot more to it. The Ramblers employ staff in Cardiff, in Edinburgh and in London to deal with legal issues and all sorts of things.
And how much is it then to join?
It's £34.50 at the moment for a single person. Sometimes there are discounts with a Tesco Club card, first year's membership. But I think it's really good value. We had a training session the Saturday before last in Swansea, a roadshow, and I gave people the chance to brush up their skills in terms of walk leading, navigation, first aid. And then we had a talk from one of our vice presidents, Hugh Ranker Davis, who's an AM. And then we had a walk up Kilvey Hill. It's a popular place to go, Kilvey Hill, but there are a lot of options, Colin, aren't there?
Yeah, indeed, yeah.
It surprised me. I've lived in Swansea over 40 years, and it surprised me how many local people have never been up Kilvey Hill. They've all seen it. They've seen the transmitter, which is coming from, including that, but a lot of them never walked up there.
So what would you say for people now, obviously, with the heat and walking in that? What precautions should they take? Okay,
first thing is make sure you've got plenty of water to drink, and also sunscreen. Apply factor 20, 30, because of course the sun is very strong at this time of year. If you've got a hat, it's a good idea to wear one. Don't walk too fast, take your time, and basically that's it, you know. And if you feel unwell, get into the shade. Obviously, if you lead on a lead walk, they look out for that sort of thing, but no, it can be very pleasant. It can be very hot, yes, but when you get back at the end of the walk and you've achieved it, and you go home and have a shower and all that, and it's great then, you know.
Great, well, thank you very much. I think we're going to have a quick look at what happened on this day before we have a look at the newspapers in the next part. We're going to start in 1952 with the last tram ride in London. I think we've got a clip to have a look at that.
Oh, what a night that was. London hung on to its last tram like a dog with an old bone. And at New Cross Depot, Lord Latham, the chairman of London Transport, could only wait and wait, until at last London let go, said goodbye, and allowed it into the depot for the triumphant and ceremonial very last run-in. And the man who drove it in? John Cliff.
Wow. It's crazy, 1952 was the last tram ride in London, because I think they kind of disappeared, didn't they? And now they're making a comeback. I know Birmingham have just relaunched their tram system that is big in Nottingham and Edinburgh.
Manchester,
And of course, I think Swansea had quite a famous tram route that I hear all the time people would want back.
The Mumbles train. Well, I didn't live here then, so I don't remember that. I expect you did, Colin.
Yeah, I did, yeah.
You probably did various tricks, I think, as the tram ran along the track, didn't you?
Well, the trick was that you had a halfpenny, and you put it under the wheels, and when the tram ran over, it turned into a penny.
Okay.
So you doubled your money, basically. So then you could use them then for the penny slots.
I see.
Very clever. Are you in the party of bringing the tram back and having it for...
No, not really. No.
Fair enough. Is that a good walk, kind of following where the tram once went?
Yeah. I mean, along the Mumbles train, along the front, is the promenade. It's a cycle path and footpath now. So, I mean, I think it would be impractical to bring it back. But it is a good walk. It's flat. There are various points along there where you can stop and get refreshments and so on. So, yeah, I think it's an easy place to walk. And you can, if you have to go to a car, you can park nearby or catch the bus and walk along there. You know, I think that's why it's popular with people doing walking for charity. You know, they can start at one end and get to the other and get back easily.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, going from walking to running, we're now talking about Forrest Gump. In 1994, that iconic film came out with Tom Hanks. I think we've got a clip to remember it.
My name's Forrest Gump. My mom always said life was like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get.
Your boy's different, Miss Gump. Forrest is right here.
Jenny and me was like peas and carrots. She was my most special friend.
Hey, stupid! Run, Forrest, run!
That iconic line.
Oh, I know. Run, Forrest, run.
Are you a fan of that film, Richard?
Yeah, I've enjoyed it. I've watched it a couple of times. I did enjoy it,
Yeah, it's one of those ones that I think you can kind of go to and just guarantee you're going to enjoy it. But I quite like, I'll be flicking through Sky Movies and see that it's kind of halfway through and you can just kind of pick up the story. So I have noticed, because it's its anniversary today, I think Sky Movies are doing a special thing where they're re-showing it and doing like the special and interviewing Tom Hanks. So that's very cool. Well, thank you both again for joining us. Okay. And all the information's online, and if anyone wants to find out any more, isn't it?
SwanseaRamblers.org.uk. It's all there, the programme, all the information, photos of walks we've done.
That's great.
Lovely. Thank you
both
so much. And after the break, we'll be joined with Shadow Secretary for Wales, Christina Rees, to the sofa. Welcome back to Today on BayTV. I'm Liz Kent and with me is Henry Darby Cook, and we're now with the Shelter Secretary for Wales, Christina Rees.
I'm just having my ear chewed off about the fact Neath's not in the opening titles. It is there, Christina.
Yeah,
it's the one after the Port Talbot one. So we're going to have a look at today's newspapers. What are we talking about today, Liz?
We are. Firstly, we're going to bring up the fact, I don't know if you remember this character or this lady, Cara Lee Scott. She's died at age 74. Now, she was the actress that played Grotbags. If I say the name, maybe not, but if you saw her picture, I think you would. We're going to show a quick clip of her now.
I don't know what's wrong with these kids today. Kids who can understand anything they say. Kids, give me that, give me that, give me that, give me that ding, give me that, give me that, give me that, give me that. You don't know what you're messing with, but I'm gonna tell you now. Get this straight, I'm just a mean green mother from outer space.
Nancy, you're all right.
Oh,
that's unlucky.
Hang on, look at that.
Did you recognise her then? When you see
her? She's got the same hair, only different colour.
She appeared in several children's programmes in the 1980s and 1990s. I remember her. I used to watch the programme all the time. She originally was in the Rod Hull Emu's World.
Ah, yeah.
And then once that then was finished, they gave her her own programme, which was the same character. Right, now we're going to go on to the papers. In The Guardian and the Daily Telegraph, they're both covering the same stories. A safety alert on 1,300 failing nursing homes, and the Daily Telegraph's quarter of care homes are unsafe. Now, the Care Quality Commission found that 20,000 people are being cared for by 343 in care homes, nursing homes and home care services. And what they're saying is, obviously, this is inadequate. It's not down to the people so much that are looking after the people that are in these homes or are living in their own homes. It's the fact that they're short of staff, so they haven't got the time to travel, to pick up the phones and to dispense the adequate medication and that. That's basically what they're saying. What's your views on it?
I think that the workers do a tremendous job.
Yeah.
And it's such a strenuous job as well, because there's a lot of lifting involved, and so therefore it wears you down, and you have to take then some sick time, you know, some sick leave, and I don't think they've got the cover there. And the trouble is as well that some care has been outsourced to the private sector, where they're undercutting the wages, so it's a whole complicated issue. And I'm glad that the Commission has looked at it. But in Wales, we do really much better than in England as well.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. In the Wales, we have Care and Social Services Inspectorate Wales, and I actually looked at some of them, of what they've said about the care homes in Wales, and in fact, ours are quite positive. I looked through quite a lot of them after reading this. That's me going into things into depth. And like you said, we are separate, obviously, to England. And yes, we are lucky that a lot of them have come back. The only things that they may have said was some of the people that are living in the care homes, as you said, sometimes they have to change people that are looking after them. And that's a little bit distressing to the person that's living in the care home, because they get used to the person that's looking after them. That's the only thing that's come up quite frequently. But then again, that's not down to the actual care that they're given. That's down to, like you said, the pressure on the person that's having to have to work in the care homes. We don't look at that from the outside, do we?
I think it's a vocation as well. You know, it's not just a job to the workers who work in care homes. It's an absolute vocation, and they're so passionate. My mum was in a home because, unfortunately, she had dementia towards the end, and the care she was given was, you know, absolutely fantastic in very strenuous circumstances, you know, because it's not only physically demanding, it's mentally demanding to work in that sphere. And I mean, my heart goes out to the workers in care homes. But in Wales, we are definitely, you know, better off.
Yeah, we are.
How come? Why is it different in Wales? Why do Wales perform better than England?
Well, the NHS is devolved in Wales, and in local government in Wales, the Welsh Government has protected the budget for local government, whereas in England they haven't. So we're better off, and that's why we are better in Wales. It's a whole different system to England, and we're less privatised. You know, it's only recently that local councils have actually outsourced, and then it's maybe to a not-for-profit system rather than to a private system.
And I also know the government focused a lot within the past few years on patient-centred care, which is the most important thing.
Yeah.
Well, I guess my next question is then, how come England doesn't learn from Wales' success?
We're working on it, Henry.
Yeah?
In all sorts of spheres.
Well,
you know, you take the terrible incidents in the tower blocks. In Wales, sprinkler legislation was enacted in 2013. Anne Jones, the AM for the Vale of Clwyd, took it through. And so all new builds in Wales, and some retrospectively, will be fitted with sprinklers. Well, we're well ahead of the game there. It's not happening in England. So the private members' bills, ballot was done this week, and the top 20 MPs can take a private members' bill through, so there'll be lots of lobbying to get that legislation done by backbenchers, you know, in the House of Commons, because the government don't look as if they're going to do it. So we are ahead of the game in lots of things in Wales. And, you know, we've got the opt-out organ system in Wales, organ donation system in Wales. Well, they're looking at doing that now in England.
Yes.
Well, we've already done it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Hopefully things will change and people will start looking at us then.
I hope so,
yes.
It is.
Moving forward to the Daily Mirror, you just spoke about your mum with who had dementia, sadly. They say in the Daily Mirror, their headline is Dementia Time Bomb, and up to 1.2 million Brits will have this disease by 2040. And also the cost of the NHS will soar to a crippling £36 billion. And the illness is set to become one of the biggest killers in the UK. And this is covering England and Wales. As you said, it's difficult on obviously the person that's suffering with the illness, but also the family surrounding them as well. So it's the care for that person, and also really the care for the people that's caring for that person as well, and understanding of what they're going through, really, because dementia is getting larger now as there's more awareness. But it's for people, I think, still to understand it more.
There's so much that is unknown, because I remember when my grandmother started sort of, she used to live with us, with my mum and dad and me, and she used to start going out to the house in the middle of the night, and my mother used to say, Christina, can you go and get, you know, Mum back? She's gone at this, and we didn't know what was wrong, because it wasn't awareness then. So we're raising awareness of what dementia is. We're looking at what causes it, which we don't know. I mean, we've made tremendous breakthroughs in diseases such as cancer, in breast cancer, to name one enormous breakthrough in that field. But in dementia, we're still really at just the beginning of what causes it. How can we care best for people? What is the best thing to do? How can you prevent it? There are theories that, you know, if you keep your mind active, the more active you keep your mind and the more physically fit you are, you can ward off dementia, but it's still, many things are so unknown about it.
Yeah, definitely.
And obviously the thing here is we're living longer and our population's only growing, so the more we need to know more now, don't we, really?
Oh, definitely, Henry. If you look at the statistics, you know, whereas before, if you retired, took early retirement at 60, you were considered to have maybe 10 or 20 years left. But my brother, he retired when he was 60. He's now 86. I mean, obviously, there's an enormous age gap between me and my brother. I'm much younger than him, obviously. But, you know, that's what, how long? There's 26 years, you know. What has he been doing? He reckons he's been busier now than he ever was when he was in work.
Enjoying, probably not so much stress.
Enjoying, and he's on his 4th wife.
Right, okay.
Just thought I'd mention that.
He's not watching, is he?
No, probably. I hope not.
Well, have we got anything for the last minute?
In the Daily Mail, historic day at Wimbledon as 4 Brits make 3rd round for first time in 20 years.
And maybe a 5th, according to... There's a match going on currently.
That's it.
Yeah.
And hopefully maybe saying tomorrow a 5th. one thing quickly, I don't know if you did watch or you're following any of the Wimbledon. Did you hear about the fact that there were so many flying ants everywhere? That was another story that was on the paper as well.
Well, you know, obviously I haven't had any time to watch because I'm so busy, you know, in Parliament. But I did catch the headline there. What's all that about?
I must have been because it was so warm, I'm assuming. I don't know. People were saying they were eating it, everything.
Oh my God.
That's very nice, is it?
I know. Instead of hitting the ball, they were hitting the flying ants, I think. Thank you so much, and we'll stay with you after the break.
Thank you.
Thank you, Christina. So, yeah, next we're going to be talking about everything that happened in this week in Parliament and what Christina's been up to.
and welcome back to Today on BayTV. I'm Liz Cairns and with me is Henry Darby Cook, and we're still with the Shadow Secretary for Wales, Christina Rees.
So when we last saw you, Christina, I think you were about to start campaigning day, was it? Campaigning weekend?
Yeah.
So yeah, tell us about that. What happened?
Saturday morning I went to Preseli, Pembrokeshire, because we nearly took that seat. It was just 314 votes.
Yeah. Wow.
Against Stephen Crabb. And we went to Haverfordwest and loads of supporters turned out and we marched through the centre of town.
Okay.
And, you know, chanting, and the Tories have no mandate, certainly no mandate in Wales. And it was a beautiful day. And so I spent a few hours there. And then I drove to Pembroke Dock in the afternoon, where Simon Hart is the current MP, he's the Tory MP, another Tory. And we went door knocking in a ward there where we've got a new young Labour councillor, Josh Brynan. So we helped him campaigning in the afternoon. And the weather held up and we had a really great day. So
obviously we're a couple of weeks now since the election. We have a Conservative Prime Minister as it stands. What was the feeling on the doorstep? What was the kind of feedback you were getting?
The feedback is that she's being quite disingenuous in many ways, because she called the election on a Brexit platform, saying she wanted her own mandate to secure a tougher deal for us to come out of Europe. But then she made so many U-turns during the election campaign on things like social care, which is devolved anyway, and in many other respects. She's losing her support. And to go back with less MPs than she called the election with is a situation that hasn't happened before many times in history.
So, and then on Sunday morning, you were on television, weren't you?
Oh, yes. I went on Sunday Politics from the BBC in Llandaff on Sunday morning, and that was my first appearance. So that was quite an experience.
Yeah? A good experience?
Yeah.
Or?
A very good experience. Yes, I enjoyed it so much. But the makeup lady made me look 10 years younger, so that was a bonus.
And clearly, all the times you've been on BayTV's set you up well, practice-wise.
Yeah, you have taught me everything I know.
OK, let's move on. Let's talk about the past week you've had then back in London. Obviously, again, we say it every week. We're living in history, aren't we? Every week something is changing. You
know, you just can't believe what's happening day to day, hour to hour, sometimes minute to minute. On Monday, we had a statement about Northern Ireland. James Brokenshire came to the chamber and made a statement. So we didn't know what was going to happen, because at the moment they've had elections in Northern Ireland, but they haven't formed an executive because the DUP and the Sinn Féin, two main parties in Northern Ireland, can't agree on power sharing. So we had an update on that, which really wasn't an update. They seem to have kicked it into touch again and given more time. The sort of perceived wisdom on it is that nothing will happen now until September, but we don't know. And then we had a massive Westminster Hall debate yesterday on 1950s women's and their pensions.
Right.
Because I don't know if you've been following this.
Yeah, we have.
Yeah. So there was a massive Westminster Hall debate. In fact, I couldn't actually get in. I had to stand at the back. All the seats were taken.
Can you explain for some people, just in case they don't?
Oh, sorry. Westminster Hall, that's a hall alongside Westminster main hall, and it's a debating chamber. So it's not in the main chamber of the House, it's in a separate chamber, and you can call for a Westminster Hall debate on anything you want to, really, and you go into the ballot and then it gets drawn. So Graham Morris, who's a North of England MP, who actually has been very ill with cancer, but he's recovered. So this was his first debate back, really, and he called for a debate. It was 90 minutes and it was packed. There were so many people who wanted to speak, so many MPs who wanted to speak. They reduced the time limit right at the beginning to 2 minutes.
Good.
Wow.
So that gives you some sort of indication of how immediate and how desperate the plight is of 1950s women who are losing thousands and thousands of pounds because they can't retire when they want to retire.
And I know it's still going on, but what is the foreseeable outcome for that situation?
Well, the new minister, in his position from the government benches, he actually made some ludicrous comments, such as women can take up apprenticeships.
At that age?
Yeah. I mean, what can you say?
That's crazy.
Crazy. There are some Tories who are in support of the 1950s women's campaign. Right. Some are not. Some made some outrageous statements as well. And you wonder what world they're living in.
Yeah. What was the reaction like when obviously these statements were being made?
Intake of breath. The WASPy women were in the gallery actually watching. Yeah. So they became obviously very upset and very disturbed. And there's no need for it to make it a political thing. There's no need. These are women who have worked hard all their lives and all they want to do is to retire at a decent age. Yes, I agree with equalising the age, because at the moment men are 65, women are 60. Yeah. Yes, I agree with equalising that. But the way they've done it, there's no transition phase.
Yeah, this is what they've been saying when they've been on. We've had
yeah. Obviously, it's something Caroline Harris is very passionate about, isn't it? And she's been on talking about it. So, and it's something that's, I don't think it's going to go away, is it?
I don't think so. You know, the government really has to do something about it, and they can find £1 billion to buy off the DUP. Why can't they find some money for the 1950s women?
Well, talking about the 1 billion, is it? Or, yeah, new money to the DUP, obviously something that's been talked about a lot in both Wales and Scotland, obviously both also devolved nations, is, you know, if Ireland are getting it, where's the money for Wales and Scotland?
Well, it's 1 billion new money, £500 million old money. So on that theory, we should have some Barnett consequentials. That means if they get more, we should be getting more, roughly about 5%.
Yeah.
But we think that they're going to craft it, the government are going to craft it, so that it's a grant that doesn't come under Barnett consequentials, or it's old money, it's all old money. So that's a fight that we're having at the moment. There's no clear information on it at the moment. And of course Scotland should have money as well, because that's the way it was set up. Joel Barnett sent it up in 1976, right, I think it was. And that's the way it should work. But, you know, she's bought them off, really. The Prime Minister's bought off their votes. And the ironic thing is that she didn't have to do that, because they normally vote with the Tories anyway.
Right.
So again, when will you know, Britain know the outcome of things like that? Where, you know, moving forward, will money come or not? Yeah.
I don't know. We're just waiting. In Prime Minister's questions on Wednesday, Jeremy Corbyn, our leader, brought up, you know, the pay cap. That wages have been frozen in the public sector now for many years, and they're capped at 1%. And they have independent pay review boards that look at that and go back with recommendations to the government. And it's up to the government whether they take them on board or not. But not many people know that before that happens, the government give the pay board some guidelines, and the guidelines for the last one was, it's capped at 1%. So you wonder whether this exercise is going anywhere. So it sort of gives them credibility, but it doesn't if they give them the guidelines in the first place.
Yeah, because it's been changed now to 2%, isn't it? It was in the papers.
Well, do we believe what's in the papers?
Exactly. And obviously I think it's so important now to be talking about this, with everything that's happened this year alone, with Grenfell and obviously multiple terrorist attacks, where we've seen the public sector, you know,
cut back.
Yeah.
20,000 police cut back, 6,000 firemen have gone. There's a crisis now in the NHS in England in recruiting. Because the pay is so poor, the job, you know, the nurses, the doctors, they're flat out all the time because they don't have as many staff as they should. And now recruitment is under question because the pay is so bad and the conditions are so bad.
It's, yeah, a job that's clearly a passion to someone isn't appealing anymore, is it? Well, thank you for joining us today, Christina. I'm sure we're going to see you next week, are we?
Oh, yes, definitely.
Definitely?
Yeah, yeah.
Brilliant.
Thank you for
Can't
joining
get rid of me
us.
that easily.
Well, next we're going to be inviting Dimitris Legakis to the sofa and our resident sports journalist, Joe Buck. Welcome back to your final part of Today on BayTV. I'm Henry Darby-Cook and this is Liz Cairns. We've now been joined by Dimitris Legakis, the Swans official photographer, and Joe Buck, our resident sports journalist. Thank you both for joining us.
Thank you.
Good to be here. Big season ahead of us, Dimitri.
That's right, yes.
So, obviously, 2 big new signings already. Well, 3. There's a goalkeeper, Tammy, and...
We've had the free transfer of Owen Mulder, who's come in, the goalkeeper. We've had the season-long loan of Tammy Abraham, the young 19-year-old. And then today it's been confirmed that the Spaniard Roque Mesa, the centre midfielder, has also been confirmed for £11 million.
So have you been taking their new photos,
That's right,
Dimitri?
Yeah, photograph Roque Mesa, yeah.
And how does he seem? Is he happy?
It was really nice. I mean, he could hardly speak any English. They had an interpreter there, but it was really, he was like, you know, someone whom you've known for many years.
Oh. And that's great news, isn't it? I think he's going to fit perfectly into the Swans. Joe, I mean, he's done really well, hasn't he, in Spain?
We're looking at the stats this morning, and his pass accuracy over the season has been 92%, which is absolutely amazing when you look on the whole scale of a season. And then he's up there with players such as Sergio Busquets of Barcelona, Toni Kroos of Real Madrid. So to be in a top 3 with them 3 players is absolutely outstanding, really. And it's only because of Atletico Madrid's transfer ban, maybe, that he even came to the Swans, because he was heavily linked with them. But they obviously can't get any players in until January. So I think there's quite a few Spanish players at Swansea, so that link may have worked well in favour for them. But it seems to be a great signing for the club.
Definitely. Now, Dimitri, obviously, we said when we introduced you, you're the Swans official photographer.
Right.
You travel home and away with them.
Yes.
And I'm sure a lot of fans will probably know a story that happened to you while you were travelling with Middlesbrough. Can you kind of tell us a little bit more about it?
Yeah, it was in December, last December. We flew to Middlesbrough, and the night before just went out to take some pictures of Christmas revellers, really. So I witnessed a man damaging a car. I took a picture of him to pass on to the police so he could be identified and brought to justice, but he took offence of that. He was really drunk. He attacked me, broke both my arms, damaged all my gear, and I was eventually unable to work for 2 months after that.
Well, I think we're showing some images now on the screen of... Was this just after the attack, then, when you had...
That is, yes. I mean, that's my right broken arm there. And these pictures of myself were taken literally hours after the attack.
And it's only recently that it's kind of finally gone to court.
That's
and
right, yes.
You've seen justice. So tell us a little bit about that.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was late June that he was sent to prison for 28 months. He admitted all the charges put to him. And I think that has brought a great closure to myself.
He sent you a letter, didn't he?
That's right, yeah. He apologised, effectively. He said he had some issues with family, and that he took up drinking, and that he shouldn't have touched me or my gear.
And how do you feel now about him and the whole situation?
Well, I mean, I just wanted him punished for what he did, not for who he was, so I have to accept his apology.
And that's very big of you, because I think many people wouldn't, accept an own apology.
Well, I mean, I cannot judge him for who he is. I mean, the judge obviously will have to take into account his previous and what kind of character he's got. So I wouldn't be able to kind of judge him on that, to be fair. So, yeah, I mean, I do accept his apology, to be fair.
So you were unable to photograph the Swans for 2 months. Did you?
Pretty much.
Yeah. Did the players and the team support you? And
Very much so. I mean, I had the text message from Gary Monk, former Swans manager. A lot of players were very concerned, and members of the staff.
Yeah.
Yes.
I can imagine so. Well, we're so happy you're back, and obviously...
Thank you very much. Good to be here.
Last season, it wasn't easy for the Swans, was it, either?
No.
But, I think it's looking bigger and better. Do you agree?
Absolutely. I mean, towards end of last season, you could taste the tension, really. Background and the things you kind of hear and feel what's happening. Everyone was dreading that their job was going to go, really, by the end of the season. But, yeah, let's hope we'll do a lot better this season.
So, Joe, let's talk about that. Obviously, last season, the big change was probably the new manager, wasn't it?
Clement, he seemed to be the best recruitment they had last season. I mean, with the two prior managers, Guidolin, who probably only got the opportunity because he'd helped keep them up the season before, and Bob Bradley had a job that he was always going to struggle in. Paul Clement steadied the ship and brought what everyone needed at the club, and everything about the whole team, the atmosphere of the fans, everything changed as soon as he came in. So I think he was the best recruitment, the best thing that could have happened to the club last season.
I think everything's been uplifted, do you think?
Definitely. And it seems like he said when he came into the club, the one thing he wanted was pre-season with the squad, and now he's got that opportunity. I think it's going to be very interesting to see, especially now he's brought in Tammy Abraham already after his links with Chelsea, and he's got such a big names as this Roque Mesa. I think Swans will be hoping that there won't be any relegation battle at all this season.
We've seen a couple of departures, haven't we, as well?
Yeah, it's their record signing, Borja Baston, has gone on loan to Malaga, and he was £15.5 million last season. So hopefully, everyone said he struggled this season, but in a season where your managers are constantly changing, you've just moved to a new country, it's going to be difficult. So hopefully he can, he's still only 23 years old, so hopefully he can get some goal scoring form and come back to the club. And then also Jordi Amat is rumoured to be leaving on loan to Real Betis, so we'll see what happens with that one as well.
And I think the one thing all fans are kind of dreading to hear, obviously Sigurdsson, there's a lot of rumours surrounding him and also surrounding Alfie Mawson. What do the back pages look like?
Alfie Mawson, they'd be surprised to see him leave after the rumours of Jordi Amat. He's been probably what Swans one of the best players last season, and he had an outstanding campaign at the England Under-21 Euro Championships. So I think he'll stay. Sigurdsson, on the other hand, Everton have been splashing the cash all summer. They've been getting in players everywhere, and it's going to depend heavily on what Ross Barkley does at Everton to see whether Sigurdsson will want to stay or not. But he's at a club where the team's being built around him. He's the key man. So the decision's his, really. Swansea will obviously want to keep the star man after he had such a great season last year.
Coming back to you, Dimitri, obviously, again, spending a huge amount of time with the players. Did you see a change when Paul Clement came in?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I don't know as much as in football as Joe does, but anyway, I can see that there's a change in that he tries to get players to lead. I mean, he keeps saying about Leon Britton that he's such a great leader. I mean, he's an excellent player as well, but that he's interested in the psychology as much as the physical attributes of the players as well.
Talking about the psychology of the players and that, you yourself, when you're taking the photos, you must get a rapport, some kind of relationship with them. Right. As you were saying about them transferring on or whatever, how do you feel then when they do move on? Do you miss them or...?
I do, yes. Yeah, very much so. I mean, I remember with Jonathan de Guzman, we had a kind of a friendly relationship. But yeah, I do miss them, yeah.
Do you, obviously, you just said you stay in contact with Gary Monk. Is there any other players you kind of keep tabs on?
I mean, I haven't got time really, but yeah,
I can imagine.
Apart from Jonathan de Guzman, no one else, no.
And I guess it's really nice to see them being successful at other clubs and doing well. Yes.
They're really down to earth, all of them. They're really down to earth. There's nothing kind of, you know, they don't nothing special about them in the way they kind of treat other people around them.
And does that come back to obviously Swansea, you know, being all about the fans and obviously once owned by the fans?
Yes, I would say it's the friendliest Premier League club at the moment.
That's lovely.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah. Finally, Joe, we've got to talk about Llorente. Obviously, he's come back from his family holiday injured. The Chelsea rumours are popping up again. What can we expect?
This is in my opinion, anyway. I don't think he'll be going anywhere this summer because of his broken arm. Swansea said he's going to be in training pre-season, but it's a manageable break. He'll still be in full fitness training, so he should be ready for the start of the season. I can't see Chelsea wanting to risk it and bring in an injured player to get used to a championship winning side, so I highly doubt that he'll be going anywhere this summer.
Well, thank you both. Thank you to all our guests today and to all our viewers for watching us.
And today's film is Nell Gwyn.
It's going to be a good one, and with that, we'll see you tomorrow here on BayTV.